to you, serve to you in your home without even you moving out of your couch, free of cost. What I mean by the word e-Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is e-Kailasa. I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model community. Kailasa, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Pitas all over the world. All powerful cognition, knowledge, only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth. Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystem. I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. When you protect Dharma, Dharma protects you. We will make the whole planet flourish spiritually. The spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet Earth. We all have to coexist together. We get you health. We get you ability to build beautiful relationships in your life. We get you direct spiritual support, and we make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. Whole world should become e-Kailasians. I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that. E-Kailasa is proper customized spiritual service helping you to identify your root patterns of suffering. We have perfected the science of helping every individual from every cultural, religious, nationality background. You will have lowest reactionary assumptions, highest awakened response, alive response for life continuously. E-Kailasa is enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. Proper customized spiritual service helping you to complete with your life negativity, withdrawal from life, self-hatred, self-denial, self-doubt, so much of tiredness, laziness. We can support you aligning your diet, your attitude, your aptitude, your understanding about life. We can help you with everything. If you are interested in enlightenment, we will immediately bring this to you. If you are not interested, we will explain the whole science, inspire you and make you interested in enlightenment time. We need to cater this enlightenment science to the whole world wherever they are, because enlightenment is the birthright of all human beings. Kailasa is responsible to provide that to all human beings. Kailasa is the totality of the knowledge I received from my gurus and practice manifested in my life, perfected by teaching millions of people from all cultures, time zones, backgrounds, genders, nationality, race, from every creed.
Welcome back. And now we will be looking into one very unique aspect of Adi Kailasa, which is home to the Nandi Sarvajna Peetham. Nandi Sarvajna Peetham literally is the lazy man's abode for enlightenment. Yes, this is exactly what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism actually revealed when he was explaining about what the Nandi Sarvajna Peetham is all about, how it leads a person directly to enlightenment, and how it is practically a stress-free, leisurely, relaxed lifestyle to get enlightened. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is establishing the Nandi Sarvadhyapita and reviving the entire tradition of the Gomata worship and Go Seva as per the Veda Agamic traditions. Gomata is ascribed in the scriptures of Sanatana Hindu Dharma as a representation of all the 33 crores of gods, goddesses, and highly revered, respected, equal to the mother giving birth to one. Serving her by any means and in her company empowers one with all the traits of enlightenment. The Nandi Sarvadhyapitham is going to open in various Kailasa all around the world. Just living with the cows, touching them, serving them, all one's violence, anger, everything just melts down. One becomes a compassionate and loving being. This is the power of the very muscle memory, the sacred cow. The Nandi Sarvadhyapitha is headquartered in Adi Kailasa on Nandi's Jiva Samadhi, and many Kailasas will have dedicated space for Nandi Sarvadhyapitha. Nandi Sarvadhyapitha will be hosting all beings of the world, and all genders will coexist, including human beings. All those who want to live this peaceful lifestyle, just taking care of cows, living with them, and experiencing enlightenment, can actually write to contact@kailasa.org or contact@gaumandir.org. One can register for the COVID care protection centers by registering at kailasa.org/kailasacare. And now we will explore what the sacred worship of cows in Hinduism is all about. To just list a few of the benefits of living with cows, just living with cows, touching them, serving them, all one's violence, anger, everything just melts down. One becomes a compassionate and loving human being. Thousands of ancient and modern day studies and researches and observations prove living, caring, and working with animals is the best cure for and healing for many mental illnesses and disorders and various mental problems. All those who want to live this peaceful lifestyle, just taking care of cows, living with them and experiencing enlightenment, should come to Nandi Sarvadhyapitha. Just the power of initiation and listening to Guruva, Shvetaketu became enlightened just by taking care of the Guru's cows. Go Seva is not just a good act, a noble act for some punya or social service. Go Seva is a direct path for enlightenment. Goshalas are one of the five pillars of the Kailasa ecosystem. Milk from the Goshalas are used for rituals and Abhishekam of the Sri Nityanandeshwara Paramashiva Devalaya. Bhagavan says, I feel Goshalas are going to make more people enlightened in the modern era. From time immemorial in India, the Vedic tradition has encouraged an agrarian-based civilization. Cows have always played a pivotal role in the Vedic agrarian society. The cow is revered as the most sacred animal to Hindus, a fact that is evidenced by the dedication of several hymns and rituals, reverentially addressing it as Gomata, Divine Mother Cow, in all the sacred scriptures, including Vedas and Puranas. Gomata is a symbolic representation of 33 crore gods who are said to hold positions in various parts of a cow's body. As a representation of the divine, All auspicious ceremonies and rituals involve the cow and its produce. Everything from milk, butter, ghee, curd, cheese, even the cow's dung and urine are considered very sacred in the Hindu Vedic tradition. From the Vedic period to this day, gifting or donating cows to deserving persons was considered a very sacred act and a way to wash away all one's sins, karmas, samskaras of the past births and present births. Traditionally, cows are offered to redeem people of their karmas. Making the offering of donating cows and the offering of Go Puja to Kailasa's Department of Environment and Animals blesses and cleanses the Yajaman of all his sins and karmas, not only in this Janma, but all the past Janmas as well. Here are the glimpses from Kailasa's Department of Environment and Animals, where one is doing Go Puja, Ashwa Puja, and the Go Mandir. Every morning, the Go Puja is the first ritual to be offered at the Nityananda Paramashiva Devalaya. The cow, mother cow and the calf are offered the sacred worship as per the Veda Agamic tradition. To experience this and to protect oneself in the multi-layer quarantine facility without feeling the mental stresses of a quarantine lifestyle, as well as to experience the breakthrough into super consciousness through various means. This one of them being through serving the Gomata at the Goshala, to experience the Advaita, the oneness, to drop all one's anger, violence, just through the touch of the cow's body, which very muscle memory translates non-violence and compassion. One can register now through the link kailasa.org, kailasa.org/Kailasa Care, KAILASACARE. Do register yourself now. And now we'll move to the next segment. Thank you for being a part of this Adi Kailasa ship, the only solution for the Pralaya. Thank you, Nityanandam.
Nityananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham.
Just be alive for next 3 years. Don't die within next 3 years. Just don't die within next 3 years. Be alive. Somehow be alive. I'm working sincerely. I will reach you somehow. Somehow I will reach you. It's my commitment to humanity. Just don't die within next 3 years. I will reach you wherever you are, whichever corner of the world you may be. I will reach you with enlightenment. You manifesting the space, state, powers, being, Paramashakti. It is possible, and it is possible for you. Paramashiva will reach you with enlightenment science. I know he is going to do the job. Just be alive for next 3 years. Nothing else. Just be alive for next 3 years. Don't die within next 3 years. Just don't die within next 3 years. Be alive. Somehow be alive. I'm working sincerely. I will reach you somehow. Somehow I will reach you. It's my commitment to humanity. Just don't die within next 3 years. I will reach you wherever you are, whichever corner of the world you may be. I will reach you with enlightenment. You manifesting the space, state, powers, being, Paramashakti. It is possible, and it is possible for you. Paramashiva will reach you with enlightenment science. I know he is going to do the job. Just be alive for next 3 years. Nothing else.
Absolutely perfected knowledge available to you, served to you in your home without even you moving out of your couch, free of cost. What I mean by the word e-Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are, If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is E-Kailasa.
I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model community. Kailasas, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Peethas all over the world.
All powerful cognition, knowledge, only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth.
Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystem. I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. When you protect Dharma, Dharma protects you. You will make the whole planet flourish spiritually. The spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet. We all have to coexist together.
We get you health. We get you ability to build beautiful relationships in your life. We get you direct spiritual support, and we make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. Whole world should become E-Kailasians.
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that.
E-Kailasa is
Nityananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda 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 Paramashivoham. परमशिवोऽहम् ॐ नित्यानन्द 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 परमशिवोऽहम्
Nityanandam. Welcome back to all of the viewers who had just been joining with us and gathering with us for the Devi Parashakti Akashic reading program. And we are continuing on today's program on Nityananda TV, Kailasa TV. For all of you viewers, for all of the people who are new, and for all of the people who are Kailashians, our sympathizers, our friends, our family across the world, into further the third and fourth parts and the continued segments of presenting to all of you in a great presenting to all of you the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and also the women of Kailasa and all of his devotees who are women. I'd like to begin again this segment by telling all of the viewers and once again expressing my sincere, humble, and absolutely deep gratitude to the UN, the ONHCR, in order to actually being recognizing finally the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and the persecution that has been ongoing against him for the last decade. And I sincerely, after having witnessed so much and having been victim to so much, and having seen the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, felt so much of uncontrollable pain for him having to go through so much and sacrifice so much just for all of us. For this, I really wanted to express my gratitude to the UN for finally giving some kind of reprieve. And I'd like to start today's segment for the continued presentation on the persecution by saying that, again, I'm one very blessed being who is able to stand and voice what happened to me and what Swamiji has done for me. I'm able to be alive in front of you today. I'm extremely blessed to be alive, extremely blissful and happy, living the life that I want to in so many different ways, just because of Swamiji, and not only because of his sacrifices, but out of his deep love and compassion and absolutely unconditional compassion, which so many people cannot even fathom in the world. And ultimately that becomes the reason why they justify their criminal acts against him, their abuse and their hatred, because they simply cannot cognize, they simply cannot understand why and how there can be such a being who is so compassionate. Today, I'd like to emphasize to all of the viewers, I'm speaking to you directly, deeply pleading for each and every one of you to listen to my story, because I'm not the only voice. Over the past few days, you might have seen so many different women, children who have come on this show. And I'd like to speak on behalf of them as well and say that we are not the only voices. There's so many voices who are crying in deafening loudness, in deafening volume, and whose pain is just absolutely inconsolable, but they're absolutely neglected and made invisible, dehumanized by society and by anti-Hindu militant terrorist forces. Today, I'd like to tell my story as a way for each and every one of these voices to find a voice. If you are out there right now and you have been through what I have been through under the hands of the anti-Hindu militant forces, I want to tell that you are not alone. You are not the only one going through what you have been through. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has always been extremely compassionate to provide an ecosystem for you to recover from your pain, to recover from all the trauma that we have undergone. And he has healed me and so many others of trauma, pain, of going through what we have been through, taken the responsibility to make us flower into our utmost peak potential. You are out there and you have been attacked. You have been silenced by the anti-Hindu militant forces. I want to speak to you today and tell you that you are not alone. Please hear my story. Please understand that you are not alone in what you've been through. I have been through the pain, and I would like to tell all of you the truth about what the anti-Hindu militant forces are doing against Kailasa and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. What I'd like to begin telling today is beginning from 2005, my whole family went to meet Swamiji when I was just around 7-8 years old, and I had met Swamiji in a very beautiful cosmic intervention in my life when I was just 7 years old. And at that time, Swamiji initiated me as his disciple and initiated me as a Rudra Kanya. After that, in a whirlwind of beautiful 2 and almost 4 years, a beautiful ecosystem was created in Seattle, Washington, United States. I would like to tell all the viewers that it's really not a joke to take an ecosystem, a Hindu ecosystem, Hindu culture, heritage, tradition, which has almost been entirely lost, from one place and put it in an entirely different place and revive it to its utmost potential and revive it to the best of what it can be and help so many people. Let it help so many people. So the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in 2005, beginning in 2003, and in 2000, every single year, twice a year, he would travel city to city. And you can see here the inauguration of the Vedic temple of Los Angeles, I can say, which is today the Nityandeshwara Hindu temple in Los Angeles, Kailasa in Los Angeles, one of the headquarters for the whole Western world. This was the inauguration in 2007. And we can see how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is here and not being welcomed to inaugurate the temple. At this time, in the beginning of the mission, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had worked to enriched life by life every single being that he came across, that who approached him, who requested him, not even requested, whom he even met in different places. He started this all in 2003, coming absolutely alone to the United States and started enriching one by one, traveling city to city. And by 2007 here, and of course in 2005, we had the inauguration of the ashram or adinam, a living complex and a living temple complex in Los Angeles. And just a few years later, the temple was able to maximize. You can see how huge the temple is. And of course, today it is absolutely incomparable to this scene, and how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is himself inaugurating the deities, doing the rituals, and not only in Los Angeles, but also in so many different cities, in Los Angeles, San Jose, in Houston, in Phoenix, Arizona, in Seattle, Washington, in hundreds of cities. He traveled day in and day out in order to enrich people and build these ecosystems. And once again, I'm saying that it is not a joke to take a tradition which is dying in one place and take that and bring it to another place and start reviving where the people need it, where the people are ready for it, and where it is alive and allowed to thrive. He had taken one tradition from one place and moved it to another, not moved it, but started it, revived it in another with a beautiful ecosystem, huge deities, colorful alankaram sets, jewels, everything that is needed for the ecosystem to run, the temple-based ecosystem that we celebrate in Hindu tradition, in Arunachaleshwara temple, in Madurai, in Varanasi, in so many different cities, and we enjoy them so deeply throughout our childhood. And we so deeply covet these sacred sentiments. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism took them from one place and he brought them to another. And here you can see the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducting the Sri Vidya Homa from in St. Louis, Washington, which is another place where, St. Louis, Missouri, which is another place where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had carved the deities, carved the deities in India, shipped it from India to the United States, had it travel to city, and then inaugurate and consecrate those deities. And here he is conducting the Sri Vidya Homa with, see, this Venkateshwara is actually the Venkateshwara which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism carved himself. And it is a 9-foot tall Venkateshwara, which is actually in the United States the tallest Venkateshwara deity there, and actually carved from stone in one mold. So it is a very unique, absolutely passionate, absolutely driven to give people a super conscious breakthrough. And not only this, establishing the Hindu ecosystems, you can see how many people are there. You can see how Swamiji has trained the acharyas, the puja acharyas, how they should dress, how they should be conducting the rituals, everything. He has trained, he had literally poured his heart into, and in a completely different environment, in a place which is not supporting Hindus at all. But somehow he enriched one by one all of the Hindus who are there to create these beautiful ecosystems. And not only the temple ecosystems, but traveling city to city and giving discourses on beautiful sacred Hindu scriptures. The Bhagavad Gita, Shiva Sutras, Yoga Sutras, from 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism traveled city to city giving these discourses. And there you have footage of that as well, on how he has traveled, he's given these beautiful discourses on in city to city. After he would speak these eloquent truths, that literally would have the power to awaken the divine in you in that very second. He would give darshan to each and every individual. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism would listen to each and every query, blessing, request, boon that the people wanted, and he would take care that they were fulfilled. And like this, one by one, 37 temples across the globe had been established by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. 37 Hindu ecosystems with deities carved by him, shipped from India, with all of the paraphernalia, the Vedic paraphernalia established by him and revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And after that, with thousands of centers and so many different places, the satsang centers, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had literally been able to establish beautiful ecosystems. And in one of these ecosystems is where I grew up. I grew up in Seattle, Washington, in the United States, and I was so blessed to have met and had the darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism when I was 7 years old, along with my family. And my family being from a Hindu background, a Brahmin Hindu background, we immediately were so in love with how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had given so much time, effort, his mission, his determination, his passion to revive the sacred Hindu scriptures and to revive these Hindu ecosystems, revive the Adi Shaivite minority community, Kailasa, across the world. And I have a few pictures that I'd like to share of myself and my family participating and volunteering in the beautiful Kailasa in Seattle, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had revived. I'd like to share a few details about Kailasa in Seattle. Kailasa in Seattle is the Paschima Chidambaram temple, meaning the Western Chidambaram temple. It houses is the sacred shrine for Nataraja, the deity of Nataraja, who was a single mold, beautiful, 10 feet tall, golden Panchaloka deity that was carved and by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and still stands and dances today in Seattle, Washington, in the temple there. And Lord Nataraja, the very ecstatic, beautiful, blissful form of Paramashiva himself, was the first deity that I connected to when I was a child. When I was 10 years old, this temple we as a community, led by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, had worked together to establish and revive this beautiful ecosystem. And my father was then ordained, and my father was then trained by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism as the main Pujacharya, or the main priest of the temple. And after that, my mother was also the Annadhata, meaning the in charge, the responsible leader for the food services, the temple prasadams, the offerings, everything related to the kitchen of the temple. And my brother also, out of his own decision, he wanted to go and study in the Nityananda Gurukul in Adi Kailasha Sarvagya Peetham. So my whole family became so involved in this beautiful ecosystem, and our lives were so enriched by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, this Kailasa which he created. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, through his books, discourses, videos, the revival of the temple rituals, and through the revival of the sacred art, in all of these ways, enriched my life and my childhood, so that I, as a child, could just literally surround myself in these beautiful sacred sentiments, inside and out, and live it, soak in it from a very young age. And at that age itself, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had initiated me into as a Rudra Kanya, a temple, a dancer, a leader, a woman leader in the Kailasa ecosystem. These Rudrakanyas are an ancient lineage or an ancient sampradaya, which were filled by women, and all of the Rudrakanyas were temple administrators and protectors and guardians of the sacred Hindu art. So everything which the temple ecosystem and everything that had to do with the art and every single 64 of kalas, all of the art, were under the Rudrakanyas. So the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, even at that time, had initiated me as a Rudrakanya, initiated me and empowered me to be a Rudrakanya and live as a leader in the whole of Kailasa and work towards this revival of Sanatana Hindu Dharma that he is doing. Be a leader and empower myself and others with the sacred Hindu sentiments that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving from Sanatana Hindu Dharma. So this was the beautiful childhood that I was surrounded by, I was living inside. Now that I have explained, I hopefully all of you have understood how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had gone city to city, established the whole USA Sangha, a Kailasa in the United States, where so many thousands of people, so many thousands of centers, 37 cities, so many different cities, people, so many thousands of people were literally changing their very lifestyle and starting to live a beautiful lifestyle of Kailasa. And all of this is what had happened in just a few years, just a matter of a few years. At this time, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, also in India, in so many different places, had actively been enriching with so many, in the same way, with so many different people, and also the at least hundreds of thousands of people would flock to his discourses in India. And in India, he was attracting the nationwide attention, and of course, all over the world, the international attention to see and for the revival of Kailasa, which he was working towards. And at this time, with so much of activity, with successful creation of ecosystems all over the world, and 1 billion people enriched and personally touched, transformed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, he had been actually targeted by the anti-Hindu militant forces. Now, there's so many different examples that I would like to take when we talk about the anti-Hindu militant terrorist forces, because perhaps Hindus have not done a good enough, responsible enough job in telling our story. And let me take a few examples to explain the existence and what the Hindu militant forces are like. For example, in Africa, the terrorist group had kidnapped children and had trained them, brainwashed them, manipulated them as child soldiers, and then made these poor, vulnerable children feel as though they needed to go and fight their own people, kill their own family members, and rape their own sisters. in the Rwandan genocide, in the Cambodian genocide, in the Yazidi genocide that is ongoing right now, in even the Jewish Holocaust. Rape and child abuse was used as a weapon of war. It was used in order to weaken and absolutely demobilize, destabilize an entire civilization. And in the same way, the anti-Hindu forces had done against me. And against Kailasa, against the revival of the Supreme Pontiff, the revival of Kailasa, which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was actively, successfully doing. And again, I would like to say this because I am victim and witness to what happened. And after so much of trauma, pain, and after that, desperation to understand why what was happening, and why so many of us are victims. I wanted to understand why. And that is why I myself went to the point of seeing where all this happened in the Cambodian genocide, in the Yazidi genocide that's happening right now, in the Rwandan genocide in Africa. In so many different places, it has been a weapon war. And in the same way, the anti-Hindu militant terrorists have used rape, child sexual abuse, child sex trafficking, child molestation and manipulation and brainwashing, as well as objectification of women, sexualization of women in the media, and as well as rape and sexual assault of women against Kailasa and the Adi Shaivite minority tradition, which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving. And this is exactly what, thankfully, 10 years later, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism finally was able to be recognized for. And the persecution which happened against him, he was been able to be recognized for. That until now, he has stood for protecting Hindu women, period. I invite all of the viewers once again to share the link to see how the UN has recognized the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and the ASMT women, and how the whole world we're just now being able to get the international attention. How we went literally door to door, begging, judiciary to judiciary, government to government, media house to media house, begging, asking for justice, that what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was doing was right, purely good for the world. And finally, the United Nations has recognized, and we are getting international attention for the crimes done against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and his disciples, especially his women disciples, and the Balasans, the children of who have decided to live their life and dedicate their life to the future of Hinduism. In the same way that rape has been used as a weapon of war in all of the genocides and holocausts of history so far, it has been used against Kailasa and the Adi Shaivite minority community. And I'd like to now explain to all of the viewers how that exactly happened and what the anti-Hindu militant forces had done to victimize me and also so many people across the world. Before going forward, just wanted to show once again to all of the viewers, this is the ecosystem that I was able to be brought up in. There's the Nataraja deity that I am still so in love with, that have literally, because Swamiji has done so much of hard work, blood, sweat, and poured his energy into. He had put this ecosystem just made this ecosystem available for me, surrounded me by this ecosystem, and helped me grow. My whole family, as you can see, all the pictures, my whole family was involved, and even the main Pujacharya, who is sitting in the front and leading all of us, is my father. My mother is also seated there as well, doing the Guru Puja. These are all my cherished childhood memories of doing Guru Puja, sitting in the sacred space of this temple and sitting with deep sacred sentiments towards my Guru. From a young age, of course, with the help of my parents, with the teachings, guidance of my parents as well, I was taught that the Guru is God. And this beautiful sacred sentiment is how I was able to empower myself at a young age. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had worked so dedicatedly to enrich lives one by one. Now you're seeing the photos. Thank you to the NTV operator for projecting those. Now you're seeing the photos of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Here he is with the Francois, the St. Louis governor. So he was the governor of St. Louis, and he was in this. The governor of St. Louis had awarded the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism a certificate of recognition, and like this, across the United States, in so many different cities, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was awarded, recognized, and even the scientific community, which you can see here, are recognizing, inviting him to be able to further their scientific experiments and their scientific discoveries. And here you can see the congregation of leaders. Actually, this is a Kumbh Mela held in the United States. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the only leader who has revived the Kumbh Mela in the United States. And year by year, himself conducting the Kumbh Mela with all of the sacred rituals and all of the dedication to revive the celebratory sacred sentiments of the Kumbh Mela. And he revived this culture in Los Angeles, in Ohio, in St. Louis, in so many different cities, as you can see here. In this video, which is also available on YouTube, which you can go and see, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had invited all of the a congregation of Hindu leaders to come and be seated and be invited to a platform where they could discuss revival of Kailasa in the United States. And as you can see here, a huge list of recognition of different certificates that were all from extremely notable, esteemed leaders of the United States government, even the California state legislation, the Supreme Court of California, the Senate, all have, as you can see here, even even the Senate of California, the California state legislation, the different cities in California, including Artesia, had all have been given the keys to the city. All the keys to the city were gifted and presented to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in appreciation of the amount of work that he did. Not only that, not only in the US, but also in Canada, for the work that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism did in 2016, the Premier of Canada had recognized and given a letter of recognition for the amount of work that had gone into the Annadan, serving hundreds of thousands of people every single day, free food, free medical camps, free healing services, everything, absolutely free of cost. And here you can see all of the different recognitions by extremely notable people. The California State Legislation, the Assembly of California, the County of Los Angeles, all of these people recognized the work the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism did. So as you can see here, the Premier of British Columbia had given the keys to the city to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism on a tour. And during one of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's tour, the Premier of British Columbia had been an honored guest in the tour, and then presented the keys of the city to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. So like this, more than 40 awards, recognition, is what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had worked and earned through his hard work, dedication, absolute, unconditional love for the whole of humanity. And it was this that the anti-Hindu militant forces and terrorists had simply destroyed and had cunningly, strategically worked to absolutely destroy, take over for two things. One, to leech the resources of the whole Sangha that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism worked so hard for, and to leech those resources and use it for their own criminal activities, and also for the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to ultimately not be able to stop his mission, to eliminate him entirely, arrest, or to assassinate him and dispose of him completely. And now, coming back to what happened to in the year 2008, anti-Hindu militant forces, the terrorist forces, had targeted me in order to use me as a pawn in their conspiracy against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And in the next few minutes, I'd like to share with each and every one of you about how this happened. I'd like for each and every one of you to, if you can, comment down below. And I'd love to have a conversation with each and every one of you about what is the crisis at hand. I hope that you've been listening so far to my story, and I hope that you have the patience and are able to listen at this point in time to my story, which I plead and insist that is not the story of just one girl, but what is happening, the trauma, the pain and suffering that has been happening and is happening against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and all Hindu women. I would like to rejoin each and every one of you. Please stay tuned. We'll be with you right back after a very quick break. Thank you so much.
Just be alive for next 3 years. Don't die within next 3 years. Just don't die within next 3 years. Be alive. Somehow be alive. I'm working sincerely. I will reach you somehow. Somehow I will reach you. It's my commitment to humanity. Just don't die within next 3 years. I will reach you wherever you are, whichever corner of the world you may be. I will reach you with enlightenment. You manifesting the space, state, powers, being, Paramashakti. It is possible, and it is possible for you. Paramashiva will reach you with enlightenment science. I know he is going to do the job. Just be alive for next 3 years. Nothing else.
Nityanandam, welcome back to all of the viewers. Thank you so much once again. I really am humbly thanking each and every one of you for listening in to this broadcast at the moment, for allowing me to take your time and express my deepest humble feelings and allowing me to express my story. Yes. I'd like to continue on from where I had left off. I had been a 11, 12-year-old in this beautiful ecosystem that the Supreme Court of Hinduism has created for me and so many hundreds of people to be enriched in their life and to empower themselves with a pure consciousness and empower themselves to make super conscious breakthrough happen in their life. And it was at this time that I was targeted by the anti-Hindu militant terrorists and one of their leaders. The anti-Hindu militant terrorists infiltrate into Hindu sanghas, Hindu communities, the Adi Shaivite minority tradition, into Hindu households even, and they literally do whatever they can to take over and use their resources to fuel their own criminal activities, take over the entire sanghas, take over the entire kailasa, the entire communities, and literally make absolute rubbish, make literally the Hindu ecosystem destroyed to the point of no return. In Seattle, Washington, as I was in the United States, it became a target where as an isolated place, as a place away from India and away from so many places, it became an opportunistic ground for the anti-Hindu militant terrorist forces to target me and my family. And I know that I'm not the only one. I was told very clearly by the leader of the anti-Hindu militant terrorists that I was not the only one to have gone through, to be one of their victims, to have gone through what I have gone through. And I know that there's so much more than what I have been witness to. And thank God that Swamiji that he has protected me unconditionally, and he absolutely ensured that my life would not go to waste. When I was 12 years old, in November of 2008, my mother had gone to India in order to take care of our sick grandmother. And at this time, I became a very vulnerable target to the leader of the anti-Hindu militant force. And he was one of the leaders who would later show himself to the media actively conspiring against the Supreme Court of Hinduism. His name was Vinay Bharadwaj. He was 33 years old, and I was 12. To show you how much dedication, how impressive is the building of the Kailasa in the United States. In the next segment, I'd like to show you how the anti-Hindu militant forces used to rape against women and children in order to entirely destroy that and destroy the effort to revive Kailasa and revive the Sanatana Hindu Dharma, revive Hinduism. When I was 12 years old at that time, Vinay, the leader of the anti-Hindu militant forces, had started to pay special attention to me. He started to, I can say, he started to pay special attention to me. And in the whole temple, I was the one who was the daughter of the priest, I was the one who was the daughter of the Annadata, and my parents, being extremely humble, sincere, kind, friendly, devotional, had accepted Vinay as their friend and trusted him, as we all do in our community. We are a trusting, loving community, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. When I began to be manipulated and targeted by the leader of the anti-Hindu forces, the anti-Hindu terrorists, Vinay, I myself absolutely silenced by his words, by his actions, and by the power that he exerted over me and everyone else. Vinay Bharadwaj had been conspiring since that time. The moment he set his eyes on me, to use me as a pawn against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. I would like to tell all of the viewers that it makes me extremely vulnerable, and I'm very sorry. I'd like to give a trigger warning to all of you viewers that what I'm about to say is extremely traumatic for myself and perhaps for some of you if you are a child abuse survivor, if you are a sexual abuse survivor. This is a trigger warning for each and every one of you that what I'm about to say is going to be extremely raw and extremely truthful about what he did and what had happened. When I was 12 years old, he started to speak to me about Swamiji, about the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and he started to lure me away into his private spaces, into a private room in the temple, saying, oh, I'm tutoring her, I will give you tutoring, or I will help you in meditation, or I will, or he would say that I will make all of, I'll teach you meditation, I'll teach you the sacred scriptures. He would say this, and he would lure me away to private spaces, to different rooms, private rooms in the temple. And then, when that escalated, he started to then take me and call me on the phone when I was when I'm sorry, it is very difficult for me to express this in words. So I request all the viewers to stay tuned. I would like to fully express myself and tell my full story. I request each and every one of you to stay tuned, and please, if you could, give your time to listen to my story. Thank you so much. We'll be right back with you after a short break.
Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda परमशिवोऽहम् ॐ नित्यानन्द परमशिवोऽहम्